Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection is a historic game in the Mortal Kombat world. There are a lot of firsts that are coming with this game. As I sit here and look at an absolute classic that many fans have requested for so long, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, finally going to be playable on home consoles. However, there's more to it than that. This is going to be online playable for the very first time on home consoles. That is something that has never been done before, and I don't think anybody really expected for in 2025. When we kicked off the beginning of this year, I don't know if anybody expected us to be finishing it by playing Mortal Kombat Trilogy online for the very first time. The PlayStation version, many fans grew up with this game. This was what many fans connected to back in the 90s. This was the version that a lot of fans played because they had it at home. And many players, I'm sure, like myself, grew up playing this game, taking it over to their friend's house. Maybe their friend came over to their house, just getting on the game, playing all afternoon. A lot of great memories of Mortal Kombat on the PlayStation 1. I'm just going to take you through some of the menu to look at. I mean, some of the great times with this game, including putting in the code to get one-button fatalities by holding all the top trigger buttons and up. You could access the question mark where you could turn on one-button fatalities, instant aggressor if you're a fan of aggressor. Got the normal boss damage, low damage, health recovery. Great memories putting that code in. I know myself, I would always go in here. Back in the day, you could turn on auto combos if you wanted. You could turn combos off if you want to play Mortal Kombat 1 style. I'm going to be honest, that's going to be fun to play with online on Mortal Kombat Trilogy. I wonder what two-player online is going to be like without the combos on. I mean, it's just so many cool things we're going to be able to do. But great memories. I don't know how you used to set up your controls, but I would always go in here and I would always set these to be block, this to be run. That's how I would set it up, and you can't forget. I mean, I think everybody probably did this. You got to go in here and you got to crank the music up. You know, crank the sound effects up, the music up. This is groundbreaking, though. I'm really excited. This is going to be the very first time that we're going to be able to play Mortal Kombat Trilogy on home consoles and online with our friends in the Mortal Kombat community. This game never saw an arcade release. Obviously, so in a way, this is going to be the first time that this game is released into the world in a multiplayer, online environment. Like, in a way, I almost look at this like an extension of the arcades. Now we're going to be, for the first time, playing at home with an unlimited sea of players. Before, in the arcade days, you'd go to the arcade, you didn't know who you were going to be playing that day. Now, when Mortal Kombat Trilogy was first released, yeah, you had it at home, you were playing with your friends, but you knew who you were playing. In the arcade days, you didn't really know who your opponents were going to be when you went to the arcade. So in a lot of ways, releasing Trilogy for the very first time on home consoles with online, in a way, it's bringing back huge arcade nostalgia vibes, because for the very first time, we're going to be able to play Mortal Kombat Trilogy online against just random unknown opponents. Very similar to back in the day, how we would have in the arcade days. Now, it's selected Sonya. I always like playing on Kung Fu Part 1. That's a great stage. I'm going to personally really enjoy seeing this stage back. I think I have my combos turned off. But I'm going to enjoy seeing... Excuse me. I'm too excited. I'm going to enjoy seeing this stage come back, because I always enjoyed seeing Shao Kahn sitting on the throne in the background. Where is... Yeah, I got my combos off. Where is Shang Tsung? We don't know. But this is going to be really something special to have this online for the very first time with a brand new broad player base outside of just, the people in your local neighborhood. I know for me personally, when I grew up with this game, I played with my neighbor down the street. I played against the AI, but I was still pretty young, and we didn't have like a large, robust, competitive Mortal Kombat Trilogy scene in my area that I know of, so this is going to be huge. Very first time in history, Mortal Kombat Trilogy going to be playable online to a whole world of random players out there. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. We're going to be able to experience this game just like it kind of was back in the like it would have been if it would have been in the arcades back in the day. We get a chance to experience this game with unknown players for the very first time. In many cases, some of you may have grown up and played this in, you know, a competitive setting where you can go into tournaments and play against unknown players. But for the most part, I think many fans grew up playing against just people they knew in their neighborhoods. It's going to be really exciting to see this game unleashed to a sea of bloodthirsty fans around the world for the very first time. Now, I'm going to go in order of the games that I think are absolutely historic in this, and there's a bunch of things in this Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection that are historic. But the next game is something near and dear to my heart. Can't wait to get into it. For now, we're going to say goodbye to Mortal Kombat Trilogy. I can't wait to play this online. But let's get into the next game and the next historic thing in Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. And you are looking at the original Mortal Kombat 4 arcade board. This is Revision 3 booting up right now. There's a little graphical issue there. This is running through a AxonWorks device to run this and output an HDMI signal. I got to do some tweaking on it. But you can get a chance to see Mortal Kombat 4. Now, this is going to be playable in the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection for the very first time in history outside of arcades. Yeah, if you could play Mortal Kombat 4 on the home versions, but the home versions were never the arcade version. Home versions had Goro in them. Home versions I always felt played at a little bit different speed than the arcade version. If you know anything more about that, let me know in the comment section below. This is the actual arcade version though. In this version, you do not have Goro, and there's a little bit more blood in the arcade version than was in the home versions, I believe. And this game was never properly emulated on MAME. It has taken us almost 30 years to get this game and get it brought to home consoles. And credit to Digital Eclipse and Atari for putting this together. This is groundbreaking, and this to me is one of the most historic things on the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, because this was important to preserve Mortal Kombat's legacy, pun intended, because we needed to have Mortal Kombat 4 arcade playable, and not even playable, just preserved, because otherwise, if all the arcade boards were wiped out, I don't know if they can go back and, I don't know. But it's nice to know that, as you can see, there's some little graphical differences. The bottom does get cut off, and it's a pain to run at home on the arcade board. I'm very excited to get Mortal Kombat 4 Arcade home for the first time. And again, this will be many fans' first experience with Mortal Kombat 4 Arcade. Because unless you grew up in the 90s, when Mortal Kombat 4 was in arcades, once that little brief run was over with, there was no way to get it. Many fans probably grew up with Mortal Kombat 4 on PlayStation, Nintendo 64. Mortal Kombat Gold is another one fans probably grew up with. But the original arcade version, many fans have probably not experienced this unless after the 90s they had, you know, Mortal Kombat 4 maybe at a gas station or something, or a local arcade that they came across. But Mortal Kombat 4, one of the lesser known games, the arcade port, I think, in the Mortal Kombat world, released all the way back in 1997, I believe. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comment section below. Was it 1996 or 1997? I'm gonna have to check that. But this was a very different Mortal Kombat game, and it got mixed reviews. But I do think that now it was a little different for that time. But I think nowadays, when this comes out in the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection with online, I kind of wonder if fans won't be drawn to it a little bit more, because it just looks more like a modern game. And forgive all the jumpiness, stuttery, I didn't get a chance to do my fine tweaking to this. It actually works out well, because you can see running the Mortal Kombat 4 arcade board at home, hey, it's not that easy as it looks. But I'm very excited to get this in the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. Let me know your thoughts down below. Have you ever played Mortal Kombat 4 Arcade? I would love to know how many arcade players actually got a chance to check this game out back in the day. How many have played it in the last 20 years? You know, it's 2025. I would say that probably finding a Mortal Kombat 4 arcade machine in the wild was not very common in the last 20 or so years. So you know, you can go on eBay and get your own parts, and you could buy a machine here and there, but for the most part, I think that fans have kind of, this one I thought was going to be lost to history, and I'm very excited to see it being historically preserved. And speaking of historical preservations, that takes us to the next thing I wanted to mention. That is a massive, massive, massive W for the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, and something absolutely historic that myself, and I'm sure a number of fans, did not think would ever come to fruition. But a lot of original arcade players were always dreaming that this game would be released to the sea of bloodthirsty fans. Let's get into it. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 WaveNet Edition. The final revision to Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 that added network capabilities in select locations. This also had some patches in it. Apparently Cabal had some things adjusted. There was some bug fixes. You had Noob Saibot as a playable character. This apparently also did cost, I think, a little bit more than your standard arcade machine. And I believe I saw, shout out to Ketchup and Mustard, I saw a historical video they did on this, and they had mentioned that on this version, I believe, even if you were still winning after, I think, 10 or so games, you would still have to put in more credits a little bit later on. But I had to mention Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 WaveNet Edition because this isn't in particular version. This is the last revision of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. And this port in particular, this revision, most players, including myself, just thought this had been lost to the annals of time, and that the lore and the changes to this game, most players like myself, I thought I'd never get my hands on this. I thought I'd never be able to experience it. I thought I'd only be able to hear stories of its existence. There's a handful of players that maybe experienced this game back in the day, and there's maybe a little bit larger handful of players that actually even knew this version existed, that remember it from the late 90s. But now, we get a chance to play Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 WaveNet Edition for the very first time ever in history. Coming to home consoles, absolutely historic. Thank you to Total MK for this footage right here. I'm going to link his video down below. He did a great tour of Chicago where he did mention and start talking about the WaveNet edition of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 a while back. I'm going to link his video down below. It's where I found these wonderful photos showcasing just a little bit of the history of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 WaveNet edition. There's the board right there. And it's very exciting to think that we're finally going to be able to get our hands on this version, see what kind of new tech is in there. Apparently Striker's Infinite's taken out. Cabal's got changes to him. I'm going to link Ketchup and Mustard's video down below as well, because I heard something like maybe Cabal had a audio sound play when he did it spin dash in this. There's so much that I can't wait. So much that is unknown about Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 WaveNet edition to a sea of players. I can't wait to get my hands on it and just find out what absolutely is different about it. This is something that we all thought was going to be lost to a lot of us thought was lost to history, and thought would have just been relegated to us hearing stories or lore. And then we did hear a recent interview. Dan Amrich from Digital Eclipse did an interview with mksecrets.net. Wonderful interview, great listen, love the both of them, fun time listening to it. And they did mention in that interview that the original Mortal Kombat 3 did have a WaveNet version as well. And currently, that version, they don't know if anybody has that copy. Now, if anybody sees this video out in the world and you have Mortal Kombat 3 WaveNet edition, just know there is a hunt on looking for that version, because we have restored. We do have Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 WaveNet edition saved, historically preserved. Absolutely historic for the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. And Mortal Kombat 3 WaveNet, we don't know. Where is it? Maybe somebody's got one of the ROMs out. Maybe somebody's got a board out there somewhere. Hopefully it's found one day. But this is just scratching the surface. There is so many more historic things coming to the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. I'm just going to mention one more, and this one's near and dear to my heart. Actually, we'll mention two more, but we'll lump them together into one category. With that said, let's get into it. Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo. Many remember this for not having the blood, but there were some really unique things about this game because it played tremendously different from the arcade version. And this had some unique physics and a unique play style to it. The game in general just played very unique, and I think playing this online for the very first time could potentially be very, very fun, because you get a chance to use this very unique controls, we'll say very unique controls in the Super Nintendo version online, and to see how it plays out, what the game is actually like. And I mean, it is what it was. We actually had, we had a couple custom fatalities on this. Sub-Zero had his own new fatality made for just this version, which is pretty cool. Freezes the opponent, shatters them with his arm. Raiden takes and he electrocutes the opponent until they turn into a pile of ash and their skull's sitting there. I mean, that kind of violence was okay for them. I don't know. The blood was where they drew the line. But this is going to be fun to play. You know, get a chance to play Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo Online for the very first time in history. I'm very curious, because this game had some weird controls, and it'll be fun to see what players can come up with this game. But now it's going to take us to our last thing. There's so many different historic things about this game and a lot of firsts, but this last thing I'm just going to mention because it is the first time we're going to get a chance to play this online as well in an official capacity. Let's get into it. Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis. This is probably one of the games I'm looking forward to the most. I cannot wait to get this on day one. Put this on, put in the blood code. If you know the blood code, let me know in the comment section below. I can't wait to get this, put on the blood code, jump online, and see who is actually out there playing. This is going to be another game. I mentioned before, back in the arcade days, we never knew when we went to the arcade who we might be playing against. When we got the home ports, you know, we played with the people in our neighborhood. You know, maybe sometimes you go to a friend's house in another neighborhood, you could play with their friends. But your player base was very small. You didn't get the same arcade experience as you did going out to arcades and playing with randoms. Now having Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis online for the very first time, we get to experience that with random players around the world. How many other players are going to be cranking up Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, getting the blood code in? When's the last time, let me ask you this, when's the last time you put the blood code in on Sega Genesis MK? It's been a minute, huh? I can't wait to do it. Super excited. And don't forget, there's another code associated with this on Sega Genesis. If you know the other code, we know we got the blood code, but what is the other code for Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis? If you know, let me know in the comment section below. But this is going to be super cool, you know, to really experience this game again, but this time online with random players. I can't wait. This is historic from top to bottom. There are so many things, and I'm just scratching the surface with this video. I could make a part 2 of what's historic about the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, and if you'd like me to, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know what version are you going to be picking up? What console are you going to be getting? Are you going to be what cover? My cat is even excited, I think. Let me know, what cover are you going to get? Or are you getting the deluxe edition? Or are you going to be getting the collector's edition? I know there's 4 different covers you can get. Takes me back to the 3D era of Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat Armageddon had 4 covers. Come here, kitten. Do you want to be on the camera? Come on. We'll see if my itty bitty kitty can come over here. But back in the day, Mortal Kombat Armageddon, we had different covers that you could collect. 4 different covers, 4 different copies of the game. You know, having 4 different covers for the Legacy Collection just kind of hit me with that nostalgia of those games one more time. But I'm going to wrap up the video there. I had to finish with Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis because it's just an amazing game to me. I grew up with this. My personal copy is autographed by Ed Boon, John Tobias, Daniel Pacina, Carlos Pacina, Ho Sung Pak. It's even got Anthony Marquez autographed on the inside of it as an Easter egg, because I do want to mention on Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, it opens with the tournament, and you do see Kung Lao is in technically that little opening montage as one of the MK1 monks hidden. If you go back and watch the intro to Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, you will see Kung Lao is masquerading as one of the guards. So when I did meet Anthony Marquez, I did have him sign the inside of my MK1 sleeve for Sega Genesis, only because technically they kind of retconned him in there to be one of the guards, so it kind of counts. But I'm super excited to get Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, super excited to get my hands on all these games. History's been made with this collection. I can't thank them enough. Digital Eclipse, Atari, MK, everybody on the MK team, everybody that's had a part of this game. Super exciting to think that we're going to be able to experience these all online. I'm really excited to get my hands on Mortal Kombat 4 Arcade. play that online for the first time. Mortal Kombat Trilogy online for the first time. Really excited for that too. And this, Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. Very excited for. WaveNet Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, just groundbreaking, historical. That's it's hard for me to even put it into perspective how important Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 WaveNet Edition was to historically preserve, and how shocking it was to actually know that they still had that and could preserve it. Because a lot of fans aren't familiar with that version, but hopefully this collection shines more light on it. And that is the final revision of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. So much to get into, my friends. I'm going to wrap up there. Otherwise, I'll be here all night ranting about how great Sega Genesis MK is. But much love, my friends. Thank you for coming to check out the video. If you enjoyed, hit that thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up, because otherwise, if you're not subscribed, you might not find the channel again. And thank you for being here. I'm having a blast making these videos. I'm just an old arcade head, locked in for life. I go by Headlocked Online. Matter of fact, if you want to play me in Mortal Kombat 1, the newest Mortal Kombat title, my WB is Headlocked. I look forward to seeing you online. We can play on there as we wait for the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. Come check out our live shows in the afternoons around 4 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for checking out today's video. I'm going to head out for now, but as always, I will see you on the next Mortal Kombat video. Take care, my friends. Headlocked out. Peace.